I was so impressed. Last week, I had an appointment with a lady who was a funder of a purchase of property. She was buying property, and that property was going to be registered in the name of the daughter. And she was doing this as a way of planning her estate, because she had retired and she was utilizing the money to invest in assets. And she had had the experience previously of friends and relatives, people that she knew, who when they passed on, there were delays in finalizing the estate. And at some point, some of the assets of the estate had to be sold because of a lack of planning on behalf of the owners of those assets. So I was impressed that in a sea of people who don't do any planning when it comes to their estate, that there are those who are taking out time to really think about their estates and what will happen to their assets when they are no longer around. And I thought that this was very responsible, especially for a parent to do, to make sure that they're intentional about their assets. This was the second property. She has two daughters. The other property she registered in the name of the other daughter. So this property she was registering in the name of her second daughter. And I was impressed because she had taken lessons from things that she has seen and things that she had experienced in the past. And I'm sure many of us have had those experiences where when someone passes on, there are issues with regards to the estate, and the children end up being on the receiving end of those challenges. So it was quite impressive for me to find someone who was intentional and planning and thinking about her children in the future. And I thought that let me do this video just to encourage you as well. If you haven't taken any steps, or if you haven't updated your will or visited your financial planner or your attorney to update your estate plan, do that. Don't leave it to chance. Make sure that you take the responsibility as a parent or as someone who has beneficiaries to make sure that they're taken care of in the event that you're no longer around. One issue, though, that I did raise with her was, yes, as much as the children love her, of course, and as much as the children are on good terms with her, we know how life goes. It is a little bit of a risk for all your assets to be in the name of your children while you're still alive. But in relation to the properties, there is the option of registering what is called a usufruct, which will then give her right of use of the property during the course of her lifetime. And then once she is passed on, that right fully is then located within the child in whose name the property will be registered. So a usufruct is basically an interdict or a caveat or something that is registered against the title deed at the deeds office. So even that property cannot be sold without the consent of the lady, of the usufruct holder. So that person has to consent in order for the property to be sold. So that's one way of dealing with estate planning. There are various, obviously, variables that come into the picture when one puts together their estate plan. So it's important to consult a financial advisor or an attorney who deals with estate planning and has some knowledge of financial planning as well. So yeah, just be encouraged by that story. And make sure that you don't fall part of the 83% or so people in South Africa who don't even have as little as a will. Most people don't even have a will. And most people who do have wills, their wills are outdated. In other words, they haven't been updated in the last 2 years. So it's important to revisit your plan. Life is dynamic, things change all the time. So you have to revisit your plan every year to make sure that everything is still on course.